In this episode,
it's been my lifelong passion to just really help reduce suffering in people and give them tools and help them find relative peace or ultimate peace. Like, what is spiritual awakening? It is the recognition of one's true nature, which is kind of feeling this stillness. And then I might guide them into an experience where they can recall prior experiences. One man came up to me afterwards and said, that was the most important hour of my life so far, because he felt what I was speaking to, and he said, I get it. And I hit the 12-lane California highway, and all of a sudden, ordinary reality dropped. I was like in a sea of energy, and there was so much love. It was overwhelming. I was like in tears. There was so much love, and I could feel it everywhere. It was in the highway. It was in the other cars. I knew that it wouldn't matter if my car crashed, that this part was eternal.
hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is Jacobus Hollewijn. I love to talk about health, healing, and healthy lifestyles. I include topics such as the body, the mind, the spirit, the emotions. And today is one of those interviews. My guest, Elaine Wang, has been on here before. We talk about her work with the spirit, intuition, helping individuals, but also work with corporations, leadership, small seminars, half-day workshops, half-day seminars, and she has developed a reputation in this country, and actually some countries outside these United States, where she is working with people on levels that you would never think were necessary in order for us to develop into a whole person. To me, it's fascinating. It's a fascinating topic because it's so easy to work on the physical. You get up in the morning, you do your thing, you go to work or you don't go to work, you do physical activities, you have your busyness with family, etc. But you sometimes forget to work on the inner person. And I'm just glad to have Elaine back on the show. I want to give you a little bit of an introduction about Elaine so you are being reminded of who she is. Elaine draws from her master's in social work and her master's in psychology, and through her own spiritual work, she is able to help individuals with psycho-spiritual advice. She is helping people to awaken one's true nature, which has no fear and never gets overwhelmed. Very interesting. She includes people's personalities with the goal of finding relative peace. How she does that practically includes practices such as meditation, self-awareness, self-compassion, and something called centering. We'll talk about that today. Elaine brings outside perspective and intuitive skills. For example, when you need to overcome certain relationships, and we're talking about relationship with a partner, a relationship in a family setting, relationship in work situation, and relationships in team sports, for example. How do you heal the relationship? How can you repair it? And how can you repair yourself? And or if you need to get out of that relationship, how do you get out of it? So how do we overcome these situations? We do that by finding self-love, self-resolve, and finding our own true nature, which means returning home and also back to our own sanctuary. And there are practices that you can do for this. Elaine says worldly things are important, but not without true inner peace. Life, emotions, physical fitness, wealth, they don't give us ultimate calm, happiness, or peace. So, Elaine, it's great to have you back with us on the studio. I really appreciate you came. I got to say your website, but we'll get to that in a moment. But thank you so much for being back.
Oh gosh, thanks so much for having me, Jacobus. It's wonderful to be with you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's I really loved our first talk. I learned a lot from it. I know I'm going to implement some of that in my own life, and I hope also in my work situation to help people that I can be better in my relationship with other people. So this was already very insightful. Now, besides working one-on-one, as we talked before, you do other aspect. You use other venues, avenues, opportunities to work with people. Can you highlight some of that, please?
Sure. So I began in Chicago in the 90s, and I was so thrilled with the changes that I was feeling from my meditation practice that I brought meditation workshops to the corporate setting in Chicago, at AT&T, Bank of America, Harris Trust and Savings. And people really took to it. They were hungry for tools that could help them reduce their stress levels.
Yeah.
And I began a weekly meditation group at
Ah.
Bank of America.
Ah.
And so then from there, I moved to Montana, and I
How
worked.
many people would come to a meditation group?
So sometimes, well, the weekly meditation group was like a handful of consistent members, which I thought was really fabulous. But some of my workshops, they range from 12 to 300 people
So,
in Chicago.
wow.
Yeah. So we would be on site in the different locations that sometimes a suburban location, sometimes downtown, in their main conference room.
Yeah.
And so they were well attended, and perhaps I taught 50 workshops before I left.
Wow.
And that was over the course of maybe 3 or 4 years. And I also was an employee assistance program counselor.
Okay.
And so then the groups transformed when I came to Montana,
Yeah.
because I could focus a bit more, like with corporate setting, I want to make the material approachable. And so I don't necessarily talk about all the spiritual benefits of these practices. And when I arrived in Montana, I think I waited a few years, and I had a spiritual shift. And after that spiritual shift, I began to teach again, and felt on fire again to help.
I got to ask you, what does it mean to have a spiritual shift? What does that mean? I mean, and how did that work for you? I mean, of course, you have to tell your own story, but a spiritual shift that I have a visual, what it could be, but how did that work for you?
You're right. So thank you so much for that question, because it could mean different things to different
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, my earliest spiritual shift, so I think that the practice gradually transforms us, and we have a slower, gradual shift that occurs. Organically, naturally, we're transformed from the inside out. You just start to feel more peaceful. You're able to come back to your center more easily over time. So there's a gradual, organic, natural change that occurs every time we touch in to this deeper level of peace that we might access during meditation or during self-compassion practices, or some of these other practices that centering or savoring, like I'd like to talk about that practice.
Okay.
And then sometimes we have more dramatic shifts. And so I think a lot of people tend to go gradually. And even if you're having a gradual inner transformation, you might still now and then experience a dramatic shift. And so I would say I've had a gradual journey of spiritual change from within, meaning I feel more peace. I feel a lot less anxious. I'm very different than before I began the meditation practice. I have a lot more resilience. And then I've had some dramatic spiritual shifts where the opening to this invisible realm was seemingly sudden, although my first one came after 7 years of meditation practice and yoga practice.
Wow.
So thankfully, like the body and the nervous system was balanced enough to handle the opening,
How interesting.
better, because some people don't do well after a dramatic opening. It can cause like symptoms that are doctors can't really diagnose why it's
All right.
happening. So people might have headaches, or they might have rashes, or they might have unexplainable imbalances in the body. But because that opening of the energy to this invisible dimension that we're normally not oriented towards suddenly is to the foreground, it can be a lot of wattage or energy for the body to handle.
Wow.
So it took, my first opening took a while for me to integrate, because I would have shaking and, wild movements.
Wow, you have to know what you're doing, that you don't panic.
Exactly, yeah. So somehow I knew just to relax and let the energy move the body in the way that it needed to. And I just assumed that it was clearing the blockages, but I was very conscientious, like self-conscious, like I didn't want people to see me in that wild movement, because,
Yeah.
they might think, oh my
We
gosh,
need to
what's
call.
happening
We
to her?
need to call the white coats.
That's right.
They're coming to take me away. Yeah.
I
But
would,
would you say a shift is something that actually shows a permanent change? That you hit a new level,
level.
there's a new plateau, and you kind of know that this is your new stage from which you keep moving forward, and you will just never allow yourself to go back, or you never feel the need to go back. Is that what you consider a shift?
This is such a good question, because forever people are changed by a sudden shift or a gradual one, and we still have to practice. So in the sudden shifts, it can feel like, wow, I'll never go back. I just feel so much peace. I'm not following my thoughts as often. I'm not entangling with believing what my mind is saying about the reality that is here,
Yeah.
that induces greater suffering. But then you kind of come off of that extra boost of that sudden opening.
Yeah.
And then you have to come back and work with your personality. And you have to work with these tendencies and habits that have contracted the heart or contracted the mind. That I know what's right or wrong. And, based on my history and experience, when really fresh in the moment, anything can happen
Yeah.
at any time if we're open. And it works both ways. Like, we're kind of scared that anything can happen in the moment. But also, on the other hand, like if somebody that you have known at work, or a friend that's been a years long friendship,
Yeah.
has behaved a certain way, but you're remaining open, and instead of expecting them to behave the very same way, you're open to how they might actually arrive today or in this moment. So that is why we practice, is to keep this flexibility in our hearts, so we don't shut down from these life journeys. They're hard and challenging, and people can get bitter and closed. So we practice to keep the heart flexible and the mind flexible. So we're kind of given like a little boost or a big boost. And then we may not ever go back to normal, because we have that imprint, but we have to keep practicing in order to maintain and enliven that recognition of being here, but also being connected to something other,
Yeah.
which gives us a feeling of deep peace. And also, then we want to work with these past patterns that evolved from situations in our history, and they evolved with good reason, but they may not be serving us anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the embodiment process. So the awakening process is kind of, whoa, this recognition that you're more than your body, more than your personality, and feeling this kind of subtle peace that's always here, And that's the kind of subtle, everyday recognition of it, to perhaps a more dramatic one. Like when I had that first opening in 1994, it was just like the energy just surged and took over my body and was wildly moving it to balance the imbalances of the physical structure. But it was a lot more wattage that I was then able to handle.
Yeah.
So it took several
Yeah.
years of practice to keep helping the body adapt to greater life force flow.
Yeah.
And then I had another awakening in 2006, which was after a weekend retreat. And I was thinking of everybody I knew, my clients, my family and loved ones. It was during my retreat that was a year long.
Wow.
I was in silence and meditating 56 to 72 hours a week.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
It's
so
a full-time job.
It was my full-time job, but it
And
didn't
then some.
feel like work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what? So in that you were doing that?
So I
You had
wanted everyone to know this feeling. Once again, it's been my lifelong passion to just really help reduce suffering in people and give them tools and help them find relative peace or ultimate peace. And so I was feeling this inner joy, and it was after I'd been meditating for 1989 to 2006, so for many, many years. But I was hitting another level of inner peace and joy, and I was just sending that quality and prayers for everybody to know this feeling. The music was great in the car, and I was car dancing, and we were turning onto the highway, and we were doing that movement together.
Yeah.
I suddenly thought, oh my gosh, we're just like a flock of geese. Because I'm always struck by the oneness
Yeah.
that is very apparent when birds are migrating.
Yeah.
They move as one. And then I hit the 12-lane California highway, and all of a sudden, ordinary reality dropped. I was like in a sea of energy, and there was so much love.
Huh.
It was overwhelming. I was like in tears. There was so much love, and I could feel it everywhere. It was in the highway. It was in the other cars. I knew that it wouldn't matter if my car crashed, that this part was eternal. And so I would say that that was another significant shift, because months after that, I was a bit like a walking Zen book. And then ordinary reality settled back in, but I was forever changed. And I knew enough, like it bookmarked this place of the center, because my teacher always told me to find my center. And I never understood what he meant. And I would always say, Akira, my meditations are going well, but I don't know where my center is. And he would say, go deeper. And that would throw me, because deeper in a way, but also like right here. It wasn't to me deeper. It was like, it was a deeper dimension.
Right.
But the instruction,
Still within the present.
right,
Right.
and more accessible than deeper. Like deeper feels harder to reach.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, super.
So after that experience, I understood where my center was, because I noticed that I lost that peaceful or blissful feeling when I would follow thought and stressful thought. And so then it was like, oh my gosh, right here, because I kept praying to know this ordinary peace in an everyday kind of way. And that's when I found my center. And so the center is really being of both worlds.
Off like OFF?
Of,
O-
OF, OF,
OF, one of
yeah.
this. Yeah.
So
okay.
we always are, but it's being consciously aware. So like right now, even as you hear my voice, can you feel a level of stillness that's here, even though you can hear my voice?
Well, been focusing on your story, and I'm going with you
Right.
in the calm that
Yes.
you experienced, and
I would
the
imagine.
stream that you felt you were in.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I felt.
That's right. So you can, it's palpable while you were listening to the story, because I had quite a vivid experience of it.
Yeah.
So even right now, it might be less vivid, but you can still sense it. Is that right? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's your center.
The interesting thing is listening to you and being focused on this our conversation. I am totally here in the room. I'm not with my thoughts anywhere else.
Exactly. Or the thoughts are just kind of background
Right.
noise.
It's almost like a meditation.
Yes.
The way you explained it in the first interview.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So it's so accessible. So that's like a mini awakening. And then what are other times that you might notice this quality of feeling? So in listening, being very focused, here with me, are there other times that you notice this quality of feeling?
You're asking me? I may have to get to that point. The one thing that came up to me, as you said, there was 2 moments when I had a huge shift in my life that came really sudden. And the first one was back in 2002 when I had a meeting with somebody and things came up in a conversation. And as I get outside and get back in the car to go home, all of a sudden a feeling came over me of total forgiveness.
Wow.
I literally felt that I needed to forgive myself
Wow.
for thinking that other people had it in for me.
Oh.
So I forgave the other people as well.
Wow.
All of them. I mentioned them by name, and I realized that nobody was getting up in the morning to wake up and go about their day to hurt my feelings.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought, why do I think that these people have it in for me? They don't. It's just their personality. And that personality, there was something in my personality that I can trace back to my dad. But and he died when I was 17. So there is a lot of years and decades that I haven't experienced. And that was one thing. That was one thing where I cried my eyes out when it happened. There was not even, I couldn't stop it. And I don't cry. I don't cry.
Wow. Yes.
But then it came over me. It was like a complete feeling of being in a blanket of forgiveness.
Oh my gosh. Exactly. A blanket.
And there was nothing else that I wasn't thinking about anything else except that I was going to be okay. And I had to forgive myself
Wow.
for worrying so much about others.
Wow.
And so I mentioned everybody, like I just said, I mentioned everybody by name, and I said, I forgive you.
Oh my
I forgive
gosh.
you for doing what you did to me.
Wow.
But at the same time, it was me who interpreted you a certain way. So that was one. And the other one was a few years later, actually. And that was
Yes.
with one of my children.
Oh.
And there was an absolute moment when we were talking, and in this case, one of my daughters, and she was really emotionally very upset and really just let us know about it.
Mm.
And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at her, and this feeling came over me that when she was done talking, and we didn't interrupt, it was like, let her talk. I said, I just have to let you know that I finally understand. I literally feel and I understand what it is to have unconditional love.
Oh my.
Because in spite of your outburst right here, I just love you so much.
Oh my
You're my little
gosh.
girl. I remember you as my little girl, how I held you, and you're still that same girl.
Oh.
Didn't matter what kind of emotion you just threw at us.
Wow.
And that was literally a shift for me, that I have much more understanding and am able to share unconditional love. And I think that helps me also in working with customers. I don't judge anybody anymore. When they come and they say, well, you're probably not going to like me when I say this. And I said, trust me, I don't. I've heard it all.
Wow.
And I felt it all.
Yes.
And then people are able to share with me what they're going through. And, people come in, they're addicted. They talk to me about their addiction and they feel that I'm judging them. And I said, no, I don't. There's nothing on me. I'm just listening to you.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes.
And so for me, these shifts I felt took me to a certain level where I probably, if I can say it that way, I was ready for a new challenge. And I feel, and everybody can interpret it their own way, I feel that challenges come our way and opportunities come our way to see if we are ready for the next level. I also feel that as a soul, we are responsible for other people.
Yes.
So you can say, well, as a boss, as an owner, I am responsible for my employees. But on another level, it is more that my soul is connected with other souls. And when I get an opportunity to step up to a new level, I automatically bring these souls with me.
It's
just like somebody else, another soul took me up to another level.
Yes.
So I feel there is this amazing layers of energies and personalities and soul levels where they are, where you get an opportunity to move up.
Yeah.
And with moving up, it is a right to move up. You say, hey, you're ready for a new task, for a new role. But it is our responsibility
Yes.
to not fail at that new level. So we have to, the work is never done, right? We keep learning and we keep doing better. We hope to get better as life progresses. And to move up to that level, it simply is, if we abuse it, if we say, hey, look at me, I'm in power now, you will tumble down just as quick as you moved up, maybe quicker than when you moved up. But I do believe that those shifts in life are happening to us, I think to pretty much all of us.
That's right.
And we don't always recognize it.
That's right.
But when certain challenges come our way, opportunities, literally, it can be a physical opportunity. It can be a financial gift that doesn't just come easy, but it came your way. It's yours.
Right.
What do you do with it?
Right.
What's your responsibility? And anyway, that is what I feel. I hope that makes sense in what I'm saying.
Oh, it's so inspiring, and so it is like a gift. And how do you then
take care of that gift?
Enhance it and
enhance it. Yeah.
Yes, nourish it. Yes, and so as you had asked me, did you find that it was a permanent shift?
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely. Like I just said, I feel that I don't really judge people anymore.
Right.
I accept people where they at, and I hope that people accept me where I'm at. And if I look back at my past, I can see flaws that I hope people can forgive me for. I think that's how it works. But I cannot tell what other people have to do. But I, for myself, had a shift where where I literally felt I was able to forgive others in my life from the bottom of my heart.
Oh my gosh.
There was nothing. At that point, there was indeed a complete emptiness. There was a complete silence, let me say. There was nothing else keeping my thoughts when I talked to my daughter and when I had this moment. It was totally from the heart, spontaneously.
Yes.
And both my daughter and I, we started to cry.
Oh my gosh.
It was almost like she came back. I had her back. It was a tough relationship, and we haven't really had any. For the last 20 years, we haven't really had any issues.
Wow.
So, anyway.
How beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing those stories. Yeah, it's powerful. It's like you open to your true nature, which is unconditional love.
It is.
It was like effortless. It was a spontaneous opening. Right. It was like you were acting from pure love. Yes. And so all those attributes that we practice, it might be gratitude, it might be compassion, they're really qualities of our higher nature. And so then we're just helping the personality or the body that has gone through these human journeys that may not be on board 100%.
Right.
Yeah. And we want to have compassion because they're for good reasons, but we're ever aspiring to be more and more like our true nature, without squelching our emotions or our humanity. Like we're still going to have our personalities. We're not all just going to become vanilla ice cream.
Right, right, right.
There's peppermint, there's chocolate chip, there's Rocky Road.
You
there's
bet. Yeah.
but we become better versions of ourselves potentially. And
There's also mud pie
mud
in
pie
ice cream.
Ooh, that sounds good.
You don't want to be mud pie. And I'd rather be vanilla. Yeah.
Oh, so that's such a gorgeous story, and so I
Well,
find
yours too is really good. I mean, I
well,
appreciate you shared what you went through as well.
yeah,
Because when now I understand now what it is to make that shift. When you talk about shift, I understand what you're talking about.
okay,
That was
right.
kind of my question. What do you mean a spiritual shift?
That's right. Yes. And so so shift can happen gradually or suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then are there other times that you are able to feel this peace? Like maybe you're in nature or sitting with your customers.
Yeah, with my customers in total silence.
Yeah.
I literally am there for them.
Right.
My wife has said something can drop right next to you, you don't even notice it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just still focused.
There you go. You're so in the present moment where there's access again to our true nature
Yeah.
and to this field of peace. Right. Are there other times that you sense it?
I have to think about it. I don't know. Those three are
Profound.
very profound for me.
Yes. So all you have to do is like recognize that feeling when you're sitting with clients or in the moment when you were with your daughter or in that moment when you were in your car and you were overtaken with forgiveness.
Totally.
Right. So then it's almost like recognizing where that dial setting is.
That would be like my center then.
Yes.
Okay, good.
You got it. And so right now, like we can feel it even in this room, even though you hear my voice and I hear yours, we can still sense that peacefulness and that love, but the volume might be turned down a bit, whereas those other times it was turned up. Right. So it's a matter of recognizing its ordinary, everyday presence and our ability to notice and feel it in any moment. Right.
Yeah.
Then we're bringing our more intuition, more resilience, more capacity to every unfolding moment, more heart to every unfolding moment, instead of just being oriented in this physical reality from our human self and our personality, which we can do when we're stressed out. Then we're oriented more towards this physical reality because something might be occurring that needs our full attention here.
Yeah.
But when we're settling ourselves down and we can slow down our brain waves and our breath rate and our heart rate to a normal setting, then we can feel more easily the sense of home again. Yeah. And that's your center.
That's your center.
Yeah. Of two worlds, of both worlds. Yeah. When we're stressed, we might just be oriented towards the physical world. And that's why we want to regulate and calm when there's no need to be in a state of stress, when you're just running an errand.
Right.
Or maybe you're late for an appointment. We just keep activating the stress response. Yeah.
Right.
So
Which is rampant right now.
Right.
People juggling too many balls in the air,
That's right.
trying to find peace.
Yeah. And collectively, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. There's times when that is needed, but it seems today that the agendas that we we put ourselves in, so like, well, we got to do this. It's become so overwhelming. There is no time to breathe. Literally, no time to breathe.
Exactly.
And so when you have no time to breathe, then you're
holding
literally
your
getting
breath.
by. And sadly, your body will work for you for a time being until it says that's it.
Right.
Because many of us have a tendency then to not eat well, to grab my food on the go, and you got to look at your car as let your body as a vehicle that takes you from point A to point B. And if your car runs on premium fuel and you put in a cup of diesel every time you gas up, it's not gonna run forever, And it shows. And the thing is with a car, it doesn't have emotions, right? It doesn't. If it ready to stop, it'll stop, and it never stops in your driveway. I don't know why that is the case. It always stops somewhere on the road, somewhere in the snow, somewhere on the crossroad, just stuck in the middle of the road. It always does that. I don't know why, but we are still able, even if we don't feel good, to complete our tasks.
Right.
And so that means we're stretching the rubber band even more than we should.
Right.
And eventually it snaps.
Yeah.
And that's when we start having physical problems.
Right.
I would say the body keeps the score.
It's true.
Right. And so we have to find time off. And it is interesting also when we're sick, the body doesn't want to eat. And then all of a sudden we have chicken soup for the soul, right? We start having some chicken broth, and then we come back to life. Yeah. Isn't that the case?
It is.
Often hear that anyway.
Oh my gosh. Well said.
Thank you. So I don't want to get away from the whole topic because it's interesting, and I really feel that what we're talking about, hopefully people say, hey, I've had an experience like that. But when you talk about groups, I feel you and I are talking one-on-one, and it's really easy indeed to find that silence. But how is it for people if you do a half-day seminar, or when you do a weekend retreat, or when you do a corporate setting?
Yes.
Is it possible to find that settings that has to do with your mastery to get everybody into that center and to find their own peace and calm?
That's
and
right.
Resolve.
Oh my gosh, right. So it's in a group, it can be even easier.
Really? How come?
So I'm holding the note because I know where my center is. And just like my teacher did when we would sit together, he would talk to me, but he was emanating, just the right tone so that my nervous system would regulate. So if my nervous system came in like this and he was like this,
I see.
then gradually, I might slow down and then eventually entrain to his rhythm. And so this is why emotion is contagious. So if I'm holding calm, it's easier for you to regulate to calm. Like when you're with your crying daughter, but you're holding steady and presence and letting her move through that with you being steady. Then it allows her to move through and then come back to steadiness or center. And so within a group, with all of us, we all know this natural set point within us. We yearn to find our center, to find home again while navigating this physical reality.
Yeah.
And so it's easier in the collective, if I'm holding a note, then more people come into coherence in their brain waves.
Like an orchestra. An orchestra has to play in the same key.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So then everybody else finds that key. And then it's easier, with more people holding that note, for other people to find it. And so one time I saw this, I was at a retreat and they played a video to show 200 metronomes on a table.
Oh, wow.
And they set them all off, and all of them are going every which way, looking crazy.
Yeah.
And then eventually, 10 of them came into rhythm or coherence. Then 20, then 50.
Is that right?
All of
Literally?
them, yes, like little soldiers, going the same direction. Boom, boom, boom. And then there's one in the corner that's still doing its own thing. And we're waiting and we're waiting. And then it came into coherence.
Really?
Yes. And so that's our effect on people. And so with a group, it's powerful to help people to come into their natural center, their natural inner sanctuary. And so it's very dynamic in terms of people asking questions. My heart just opens in so much love for the group, whether it's corporate setting, whether it's the half-day retreats. Even though the angle I might go, like with corporate, I might talk about the practices, but I wouldn't talk about true nature necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily talk about these deeper dimensions. I might talk about the neuroscience, like what's happening to the physiology when we're breathing to settle, and the benefits, like the research that shows improvement in attention and focus, improvement in emotional well-being, improvement, those are all markers that excite people to practice. And then when they practice in the group, in the corporate setting, they're like, wow, I didn't know that taking a few deep breaths could feel this way. Taking the time. Or they bring the practice, to their teams. They might say, let's do a settling practice before we start this meeting to just arrive. And how much everybody appreciates that, because they're usually going from meeting to meeting. And then another powerful practice that in the corporate trainings with Fortune 100 or Fortune 500 companies, they really notice the immediate change when they're offering team members gratitude. Instead of just emphasizing, this has to change, that wasn't done well, we need to do this differently, but to offer, it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for doing that. It made such a difference. And there have been CEOs that have gone around and handwritten thank you notes, which people, they mean so much.
That's really amazing,
Right, So then with the half-day retreats, I can go a little bit deeper into what the continual cultivation of these skills brings them to.
I want to come back just a moment before you move on. When you do a group like a corporate group, it's not that people can I just express some personal experiences that brought me to a level. Is that something that is also, it's opened for that so people can share, or is it primarily, I want to use you want to use this time to bring everybody together into a meditation, into a positive experience?
Oh, thank you for asking. No, there's dyads or groups of 3 or 4. So they would go into a Zoom room. And if I was doing a live training, I would have people talk to the person next to them or split off in 3s. And so then they can share more of their personal experiences. And then we might come back to the large group and then have just a few people share their experiences. And it's so valuable because people are like, oh, they feel that way too, or they're dealing with that too.
And then you used to do let's say a group meditation or something to that effect.
I would do group practice altogether.
Group practice, okay.
And then they might share what they've experienced or the challenges that they had, like, oh my gosh, my mind was so noisy. And, then we're able to say, gosh, but that's no problem. Just you're not meant to quiet and still your mind, although that happens sometimes, like you experienced. It's not a requirement, actually, to achieve inner peace.
I see.
Yeah.
It's a gradual, it could be sudden, like you said, or dramatic, or it could be down the road, but you keep going after it, and it will...
Without the goal of the mind stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people mistake thinking that if to be effective a meditator, the mind needs to stop generating thought. It might quiet down in the amount of thoughts it's generating, but really you're just learning to not always get swept away by that particular thought. It's just like, oh no, that might happen. And it's just like, yeah, it might or it may not. You might do a little self-talk, but you let it go. You don't just go, oh,
Yeah.
what if that does happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes we need psychological reflection to work with a persistent thought because there's
see.
probably some history
Yeah.
attached to it. Yeah. Then we might more easily let it go after we've worked with it.
So you said when you do a half-day seminar, half-day retreat, then you were going to talk about that, or workshop.
I might go deeper into the benefits of like what is spiritual awakening. It is the recognition of one's true nature, which is kind of feeling the stillness. And then I might guide them into an experience where they can recall prior experiences where they felt that. But for many people, it might be listening to music. It might be being by nature. It might be being with their grandchildren. It might be knitting, where they feel this peace. And then I would say, oh my gosh, that was an awakening to your true nature. And to remember that feeling so that your system begins to recognize. So centering helps us to remember and recognize, almost bookmark that setting.
Okay.
Yeah. And meditation does the same thing. It bookmarks where we are of both worlds and regulated enough to be able to perceive this field of peace while also managing our daily lives. But then our body knows how to do it on its own, like I shared with you in the first session, through repetition.
Yeah.
The body memorizes and neurons fire together so that there's a pathway. Your body just goes down. It's just like,
Right.
oh, it's time for Jacobus to center.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
gonna.
Okay.
This looks, like a moment where I need to be very present, and your body would just take you there, because of the practice or the repetition of centering. So
You're putting the bricks down and build your own pathway, and eventually it's built to the center.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know your way back, because we're all going to get thrown off and emotional and activated, but it's learning how to settle ourselves through the breath or meditation practice, all these strategies, but also exercise and good sleep count.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we're eating. If you're taking in a bunch of caffeine and lots of sugar, it might be harder to be calm.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there has been some research done on practices and show a before and after result, right? I mean, people are noticing almost in every level
Yes.
that where they are before the session at less than 50%, in the 40% range, and afterwards they're in the 70-75%, the way they feel, they're a much higher level, they're much more calm, they're much more into, I'm going to implement this in my daily life. Was amazing. This is a feeling I don't want to lose.
That's right.
There
you
so
go.
the success has been, I understand really well. I
Pre
know
and
you have some
post.
we have some
Statistics.
numbers over here and there, but statistics
Yes.
are definitely there. Yeah.
Search Inside Yourself curriculum. Post trainings, people have higher levels of self-awareness,
Yeah.
of empathy,
Yeah.
ability to self-regulate
Yeah.
with the mindfulness practices, but also the emotional intelligence training, education, to know it's like, ooh, I'm activated, and right now maybe I don't want to say something to my employee, and I'm just going to settle, using my breath, and then, just create some space
Yeah.
between the activation and before I speak. So yes, there is improvement. Like SIY has been taught to over 100,000 participants, and their studies and their surveys show improvement all across the board after this 2-day training, even. And then this other curriculum that I teach, Lead from Within, with Alex Eccles. It's his own training. It's a 4-week program.
Okay.
And this similar statistics that there's improvement in attention or focus or feeling less stressed, the ability to have empathy for another. They're all improved. And like you said, then there's kind of this positive feedback loop. Like, we don't want to lose these positive benefits or that great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I coached high school soccer. In the beginning of the season, the director of athletic director, director of athletics, we would have a meeting with the players and the parents, and he would say, before I started talking, he said, there is a rule that if you have a problem with the coach,
Yeah.
you have to wait 24 hours. Not the players.
Oh,
the players could talk, but the
wow.
parents get emotionally, many of them get very involved. And
Yeah.
they said, if you have a problem with the coach,
Uh-huh.
you have to wait 24 hours
Ooh.
before you can talk to him. Because if you do it in the moment,
Yes.
it's not always, doesn't always come out right.
We're not usually
You
our
know.
best self when we're...
Yeah, I've been yelled at by quite a few parents that didn't know they
Oh.
waited 24 seconds.
Oh,
And
yes.
that doesn't help.
No. That is
Yeah.
such a great strategy.
Well, and the other thing that I'm visualizing is, I don't know exactly how you call these things, but when in the Netherlands we have a lot of canals, and sometimes boats need to go past in the canal, but you
Oh.
cannot just let the water run. So they stop the water, and then there is one level is over here and one level is over here, and there is this gate in between. I forgot what you call those.
Oh.
But then what they do, they slowly open the gate so the water levels become even,
Oh,
and then the
wow.
boat can pass through. And it also reminded me, I was thinking about that. I don't know what you call these.
Locks.
They're called locks. I hear my inner voice just say, hear my inner voice go. Locks. So these locks, they open them, and then the water, because you cannot just open and let the boat go in. It's just like a lot of water. So
Ooh.
slowly they level the waters, and then they open the gate, and then the boat can go through, and then they close it again, and then the water can fill up, and you get another imbalance in the water. So, but it's kind of what is happening if you go up to somebody right away.
Yeah.
You need to give it time to process before you approach, like you talk about a boss or management with a team worker, that sometimes we get upset, but we don't always know if that person is able to receive the message.
And they're less likely
Vice
to
versa.
receive it if we're
Correct.
activated and
Correct.
triggered
It will
and
be
intense.
overwhelming water flow.
Right.
You know, you got to
There
bring the
go.
levels back.
That's
normal.
right. It's emotional intelligence, that's
Yeah.
self-regulation, self-management. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is really good to create space, right, and be able to settle, like 24 hours usually does, before you say something. And you can
Yeah.
say it with more skill, where it can be more easily received. But if we're stressed, it's hard sometimes to speak calmly. Yeah, it's just your physiology. So
Yeah.
you just want to give your body and emotions time to settle. But you can also, like, if you don't have 24 hours, you can step outside, get some fresh air, or look out the window and see the trees and feel your calm returning.
Put your hand in the freezer. For a moment.
Cool down. That's right. That could work too.
Okay, enough of that. Yeah, that's right. Well, it's really interesting. It's very practical. And you've noticed over all these years that you're being asked back because somehow it helps. And it helps performance.
Yep.
I think when a business acts in the positive, the results will be positive.
Yes, and people appreciate that their company is
Yeah.
offering them additional support and a good training.
Yeah, it depends where your focus is, right? Indeed. So if your focus becomes to include something, the work that you're doing, the emotional intelligence and the search inside yourself, therapies and the mindfulness, that if the focus, if the group starts to understand these concepts and start working with it, you are lifting the business to a different level, which,
Absolutely.
whatever that business is,
Yep.
you just bring it to a different level. And if you end up working with customers, then I know the customers are going to feel it when you walk inside a store. It feels
Definitely.
less chaotic, feels more
Yes.
calm, more peaceful,
That's right.
more harmonious,
Yeah.
however you want to call it.
Like those metronomes for
Like the
that
metro.
entrainment.
That's a fascinating story.
I
I
know.
never heard that one before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it benefits people in their personal relationships and at home, but also at work. So corporate employees and leaders are grateful for these skills that can be applied everywhere.
Yeah, because even when you're in charge, you're still a human being who's still
Yes.
trying to be good.
That's
You
right.
just have received, like I said, that opportunity to move to a new level. You became management, but you can abuse it or not do it right and be thrown back
Right.
down again. And I think everybody, when they come to another level, you want to bring the team members up with you. You want to
Yes.
be able to be that inspiration, and
That's right.
everybody else is moving up. So within a business, if everybody understands on a spiritual level to step up, then it is going to be for the benefit of the business. I've
Right.
always felt in working in retail, for me, all the years, there's 31 years or so that I've been in retail, for me, it was never about the money. I always felt that if I take care of my employees, if I take care of the customer, then the business will take care, the finances will take care of itself.
That's
And
right.
I've been lucky.
Yes,
I've been lucky. It's
it's
been good.
the whole approach is exactly that. Instead of focused on bottom line and numbers
Yeah.
and then foregoing the humanity of the people that
Yeah.
you work with and your own humanity, that has not worked. And that's why there's been a lot of quitting,
Yeah.
a lot of burnout
Yeah.
at work. And so what you just described, keeping your employees happy and also your customers happy is the way to be wealthy, emotionally, but also financially.
Exactly.
Yes.
And even if you can just get by, but you're happy and you feel good about
Yeah.
what you do, it is for many people a motivation to continue going.
That's
They're
right.
motivated. And
Right.
if you, as they say, if you live by the sword, you'll probably die by the sword. And if you live by chasing the money, then you're never going to be happy because money is not, it doesn't respond back to you. It's not never a two-way street. But if you work with the soul of another person, you work with the spirit, you work with their feelings and their personalities and characters of other people, there will always be an ebb and flow. There will always be a figure
Oh,
eight flow also.
oh, nice. It's not to say that being financially
It's good.
taking care of yourself is bad.
Yeah.
Or I mean, all of these things matter. Your connections with other people, your finances, your health, they all matter. And we can keep chasing after the next thing that we think is going to bring us enduring happiness.
Yeah.
Because these emotions ebb and flow as these situations in our lives ebb and flow. And we're meant to strive for a good life that's psychologically healthy and needed. But there's something else underneath that we're contacting when we're accessing our true nature. And this happiness is not contingent on anything outside in your life. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing, what other people are doing. This happiness and peace is uncaused, like the Buddhists name it as uncaused joy, that truly you feel well and beyond good for no apparent reason. And that's what I felt my first week of meditation.
Yeah, yeah.
Happy for no reason at all, apparent reason. And so this, like, we can drop striving for happiness or to wait. You don't have to wait until the goals that you have for yourself are achieved in order to feel what's always here.
Right.
And so that's like a treasure that we can come into. And during our first conversation, you had mentioned, or actually during the first take of this conversation, you mentioned somebody that you know, or a customer, or somebody that reached out to you.
Ex-customer, yeah.
I see. That's in prison. And so he doesn't have to wait until being out of prison to feel this quality of deep wellness and happiness. And so that is like the treasure
Yeah.
that we can find and discover for ourselves through these practices, or just even knowing this as a concept first and realizing, wow, I have all this stuff I need to do. There are these things that I'm hoping that will resolve, eventually resolve themselves. But you can feel so well within, without anything in your life changing, because you've known and learned to keep dropping into this deeper place that is your true nature, that is connected to all things, that is readily available at any time. So every time you drop in, this feeling can just grow in you. And just like you were overcome with tears,
Oh, absolutely.
I was too. You can feel it in your everyday reality sometimes when you're driving, just overcome with this feeling. Or you might just feel like everyday kind of ordinary blissfulness. Yeah.
Yeah. I realize too there are definitely certain movies that are made so well that you're so in the movie that when something sad happens, it's easy to have tears well up in
Right.
because it is something that probably is an inner recognition, a
Yes.
sadness, a loss. I lost my dad when I was 17. You think,
Right.
my goodness, all the decades. I know you just celebrated your dad's 90th birthday.
Yes.
Wonderful
Oh,
that you have parents around for a long time, so you can share your life story, you can share your success and your ups and downs, and you can chat with them for advice. And you've always, as a child, you always hope that there is unconditional love from your parents.
yeah.
And it is almost like an inborn quality that parents have.
Right.
But in the case of my daughter, I didn't know what it really was. I knew the words, but it was to have that feeling
Yes.
just hit you in the gut, in the
Yes.
heart. That's what it is. And
Yes.
yeah, it's a beautiful moment.
It is.
It's a beautiful moment. It's an anchor.
Oh my gosh. That's right. That's right. Forever bookmarked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And that is what you meant with shift. And that means you're moving into a more solid state from which you can draw energy in order to be the best you can be.
Yes. And that energy is love. Right. And so, but it is the fundamental energy of all things, even anger. So it just is a different expression. But we often recognize it through these loving qualities. And so for you to have just been overcome by that feeling, that was an awakening. That was awakening to who you really are, that's enduring, beyond your body, that is not enduring. It's impermanent.
I see.
Yeah. But that other part of you goes on forever. And that part of you is never overwhelmed,
Yeah.
is never afraid, not even afraid of death. And so that's why, that's the benefit of any of these practices, is because you dip into that knowing, unconsciously even, and it begins to smooth out the anxieties that the human self can have from a different place.
Wow. Anything else you want to add?
So the group experiences are wonderful if you're that kind of a person,
Yeah.
to join, and it's a gift to share this information and share the practices with others, whether in individual setting or in group. So usually, like the group, then they might have a boost. Like I just did a retreat with 85 retreatants. I was a presenter, And one man came up to me afterwards and said, that was the most important hour of my life so far, because he felt what I was speaking to, and he said, I get it. And he was able to discover his true nature.
Right.
Yeah. So if we just have a little instruction and support and direction, sometimes we just don't understand what's being shared. Like, why do I want to do that practice? And I love going into the why and how it works. And so then, so there's the benefit of the group collective energy. And then people might also seek then individual mentoring, like, how do I apply it in this situation?
Yes.
How do I continue this feeling? So like you were saying, like you were forever changed and it didn't take much effort, but you could have gone back to how you were,
right,
because of the memory and the imprint. And then you would have to find your way back.
Yeah, the imprint.
Right. And then keep strengthening this newer understanding and keep strengthening the newer way of being able to allow differences and forgiveness. So there's kind of a full range of what we might experience. And the practices just help to enliven, keep that muscle, just like with weightlifting. Like we can't just train for 2 weeks and call it good.
Right, that's right. We'll be in a lot of pain after 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just keep practicing to strengthen and cultivate that which helps us to feel good, but helps everybody around us feel better, and also for the world to be a better place.
Right, that is, it starts with the individual.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, wonderful. Thank you, Elaine.
Oh, thank you, Jacobus.
Elaine's website is mayouawaken.com. Mayouawaken.com. You can email Elaine at elaine@mayouawaken.com. But I highly recommend that if you enjoy this podcast, that you check out her website and just see what she has to offer. Read more about how she words it, how she puts it into a concept that is easy, understandable, and it really will intrigue you and inspire you to do more with it. And so then maybe if that's for you, set up a session, work with her and see what you can do. Her phone number is on the website, but we'll place it also here on the screen. It is 406-582-8694. I thank you, Elaine, very much. I thank all of you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I definitely did. I really enjoyed it. So we'll see you next time on another edition of Health in Focus with Jacobus.
Thank you so much, Jacobus.
Great to see you.
Visit healthinfocusnow.com.